Okay. We are live on stream. Oh, that was too hot. Yeah. Too hot. So, this is holding myself accountable by practicing on the internet and actually forcing myself to do it, because otherwise I'll just watch YouTube instead. I've had the heater on for 15 minutes, but it's really not done anything. So I will just be warming up for the next 15 minutes at least. And also I'm old now, so I need to warm up properly. Usually that just means nice and steady rudiments. So the one I'm doing now is a paradiddle. And the pattern is right, left, right, left, left. Then I just throw some reverse ones in as well. And some double ones. And some triple ones. And some paradiddle diddles. And some double stroke rolls. But I'm just trying to slowly but surely get my muscles warm, get some blood flowing. I feel like drums is the closest thing to a sport in terms of musical instruments. So a lot of the stuff that I do is taken from athletes, I guess. You know, physical warming up, stretching, etc. Not that other instrumentalists don't do this, but drums is definitely the most physical instrument you could play. I need to be careful not to get too excited because I'm playing too fast. And I can feel a little bit of tension in my arm already. Maybe if I put a metronome on, I won't just run away with it. That's probably a better idea. Let's start off with 100. This metronome is brutally loud sometimes. Slowly. That's better. Just very soft. And that's 100 BPM. That's more like it. Don't do that. No, no, no. I think that is a perfect example of why I've never really been like a really, really technically brilliant player, because I just get distracted so quickly. I don't have the capacity to just really sit here and do all of that stuff. Not to say that I'm not happy with the type of drummer that I am, that's for sure. I'm very pleased. This is a good exercise for drummers, going from singles to doubles, but trying to make them sound exactly the same, nice and even. Back to some paradiddles, I guess. Okay, coffee break. Yum. That is good stuff, actually. Really good stuff. Get rid of this. So, for drummers, there are a variety of ways you can grip sticks. So I'm going to do some warming up in a different grip. This grip here is what's referred to as matched grip. You might recognize this, which is what's called traditional grip. Lots of kind of jazz guys will use this. And it comes from when military drummers would wear drums on one side, and when they walked along, the drum would swing on one side of their body. They were trying to figure out a way to play it, and obviously if they were reaching all the way over like this to try and play the drum like that, that's just really awkward. So they developed this technique so they could play like that. But I don't play like that because that's too hard for me, and I don't have the patience to actually try and learn it properly. But I am looking at some what's called French grip. So you see with this matched grip here, also known as German grip, and this grip here, French grip, where my thumb is on the top as opposed to on the side. You see, it just uses my fingers, whereas the German grip is using fingers, wrists, shoulder, whatever. French grip is more of just a finger grip. I'm doing some work on that, so I should warm up those hands. And my left hand is naturally weaker than my right hand, obviously. It gets a bit wobbly. Left hand a bit more, definitely. Now I am doing this on my, well, it's not the least bouncy version of my practice pad. If I flip it over, there's zero rebound on this really, but it's a lot softer. There's not as much rebound, and you would probably be better off practicing this grip on a practice pad with a bit more rebound, aka this one. It's just a lot louder. But I think we'll go back to this. It's a lot more comfy. Oh, it's a lot harder though. Okay, I'm feeling a bit more warm. This doesn't feel as bad as before, that's good. And we're back. That's the problem with using an old camera, is it will just turn off when it feels like it. Something to do with like an automatic setting that I can't change. That'll probably happen a couple more times during the stream. Okay, I think I should do some actual practice now. Where's my practice diary gone? Oh, that's not looking good, is it? I've taken it away. I'll be right back. Found it. I took it downstairs to write in it, and then didn't write in it. So this also helps to hold me accountable and actually do some work and get better. So I need to find out where I left off really. Singles, doubles, paradiddles. I should work on those. Make those a bit faster. It's been a long time. This is from October. So it's been a long time since I've done this kind of rudimentary practice. So these numbers are going to be way too high. So we'll see. We'll see what we've got. Hopefully it doesn't just explode. Okay. Single stroke rolls at 165 for a minute. I don't know if I've even got anywhere near that. Oh, I did it twice. Went through it twice. Let's try that then. Just straight, well, 160. Get my timer on. Okay, stopwatch. That feels a bit too fast. That's 15 seconds down. That's 30 seconds down. Five seconds down. And 1 minute. Was okay. Not quite as bad as it could have been. Still not brilliant. So 160 for the single stroke rolls. That is actually painfully slow. And obviously write it down because I will forget. Okay, so 160. Let's drop down everything 5 BPM from what it was in October then. So doubles for 175. Up we go. I think this was on the other practice pad as well. Excuses coming in very quickly now. So I should do that. Move this up a little. Spilled my coffee all over my snare drum and my sticks. That's good. Just get rid of that. Sorry, everyone. Still tastes good. Oh, never a dull moment. Okay, here we go. Seconds. They don't sound incredibly even. 145. And a minute. Now here's the thing, is I can never really tell which hand needs to kind of change, because it feels like the right hand's got more of an accent on the first one of the double. But if I increase the volume of the left hand, it feels like it evens out a little bit. My left hand does struggle more, so I guess we'll see. That'll be interesting to clean that up. Sake. Okay, so 175 did it. And then one, 4, 5 for paradiddles. Thank you to my fiance WhatsApping me, telling me I'm so cute. Yes, that is actually true. 145 for paradiddles for a minute. I don't know if I've got this in the locker. Here we go. That's 30 seconds. Okay, so I do have it. Right hand definitely was feeling a little bit pushed at the end though. Definitely. But got it. I'll come back to that later. I should stretch. So I do a few stretches, actually. I take 2 fingers and I pull them back for 6 to 10 seconds, I'd say. And then I do the other 2. You can do them individually, but I don't really, well, I'm impatient. Then I do all 4. Going back the same way. And then this one, people say you shouldn't do this one. But it's actually, it stretches like a lot of tension out for me. And then I also do one with my thumb, because I get a lot of cramp sometimes in this little pocket. And then I'll do a couple twisty ones. And the twisty ones I haven't seen those kind of used by many drummers, but I saw a person who was like really good at doing handstands and like those kind of exercises, who had really strong wrists. It's like they used them to kind of like stretch out that range of motion. So I was like, oh, I could probably use that. That probably makes sense for me. It's also very important for me to stretch in a cold room. Maybe this will get clipped. Old man stretches for 5 minutes of his live stream. Okay, finally. Oh, so boring. What else have we got? Okay, that exercise is so long and it'll be so boring to watch. Doing single bursts at 210 and double bursts at 215. Let's do those. But let's go slower. Let's knock it down 10 BPM, I reckon. Let's go 200. $202.05. Now, when I'm saying like single bursts, they're kind of like sprints. So, and also I use the less reboundy kind of pad for this, just to make myself work a little bit harder. So I'll start playing eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I'll just sprint. So for like 2 beats, and then I'll try and make them a bit longer. A whole bar. And then I'll try and do 2 bars, which might end in tears. I have to make sure I don't tense up on this one. Not great. Okay, that was all right. So then if we go for 205, but do this... Oh no! That was horrendous. That's more like it. So then go for doubles. Again, starting with 8th notes, we're playing singles and then doing the doubles part as the sprint. Now these are a lot harder on this pad, and also my right hand is not as good as my left hand at playing this kind of speed of doubles. Oh, there's a whole bar. That's 2 bars. And I should probably try left hand lead as well. Harder with the left hand. Just about got it. What if it's a bit more reboundy? Not bad. Left hand. Pretty good ish. My right arm's definitely feeling the tension on that one, that's for sure. So I should keep stretching. Oh, it feels good. It feels good. Okay, we'll leave that there. Now, if you're watching this and wondering, like, why is he not playing the drum kit behind him? Because there's a drum kit. The answer is that that's a bit more complicated in terms of miking things up, and I haven't figured it out yet. Hence why I'm just here on the practice pad. But what I am going to do is take both the pads off and switch over to some brushes, because I'm going to do some jazz practice as well. Because jazz is the pinnacle of musical expression. Well, I think it is anyway. So I've got this book, The Art of Bop Drumming by John Riley. And there's some what are called comp exercises in here, which look like this. You can't really see them because I'm too far away. But basically they're like little rhythmic patterns that you can play on the snare drum when you're playing like the jazz swing pattern. Now, what I do when I practice this with brushes, and these are what brushes look like, by the way. They start off like this, and then you push the wire through, and all the brushes come out, all the wires come out. So what you do, and this actually, when I play brushes, I do play traditional grip. And that's to do with being able to create the correct sound. The snare wires need fixing. Let's just take them off. That's easier. Oh. No, it's just a little bit weird on the mechanism. Maybe it's been in a cold room so long that it's just seized up a little bit. We'll leave it. So like the main swing pattern when you're playing with brushes, like the classic one, goes like this. So this left hand just sweeps around like that. and you're trying to get it to sound even the whole way around. You don't want it to go. That's a different stroke. But with this classic one, nice, almost like it's never ending. You can't tell where it starts and begins. And then you put that over the top, and you have to jump over the you have to jump over the top, go across your hand, because one hand is going round and round. So then what I do is I take these bits of notation and I apply them to this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to the regular pattern, and then the next one. And I should use both hands. So you can see that when I do those little taps with the left hand, I'm trying to make them as quick as possible so I can try and maintain that smooth sound. But that's really difficult to do. So sometimes I'll just not lift it up enough and just end up swishing a little bit harder, which it's not wrong. Just a different sound. I'm kind of more looking for actual kind of taps. That's a bit better. There's another pattern there. Next one. That's sounding a bit better now. Next one. I'll do 2 more. Not quite right. Try again. How would this one go? Like that. As you can hear, because I don't play traditional grip, whenever I try and play something a bit more kind of rudimentary, I don't have the technical ability to do that. Some bits I can, like that, and some single stroke rolls, but when it comes to doubles, I feel like I'm kind of doing the cheats version. But I just don't have the ability, really. Okay, cool. I'll come back to those in a little bit. Go back to my rudiments for a little moment, and then come back to those. I've got a nice little stick bag on the front of this snare drum. I'm not just dropping them on the floor. Let's go for those singles, doubles and paradiddles again. See, this is what it's like. This is what practicing looks like an instrument. You just do it over and over again. It's incredibly mind-numbing. Which is why people just sit and play. Why it's just, that's the fun part. It's just playing stuff. Sitting and doing rudiments all the time. Okay, 160. Single stroke rolls. Let's go for the reboundy one. We're still here. 30 seconds. $45. And that's 1 minute. That's, my right arm is getting a little tense, that's for sure. What I need to do is relax. The reason why my right forearm gets sore quicker than my left, which it really shouldn't, is because I'm usually applying too much tension where I grip the stick here. And that just leads to more forearm tension, because obviously there's no muscles in your hand. You know, I get a bit of cramp here sometimes, but there's no proper muscles that are doing any of the work. So it gets a little tense in here, but I need to just grip the stick lighter, which is obviously a weird feeling because sometimes it feels like they're about to fall out your hands. Oh no, my metronome's got low battery. What a shame. Okay, 175 doubles. They don't sound crazy even. That was intentional. Okay. That was okay. Obviously, because my forearms got a little bit of tension in it anyway from playing a second ago, that felt harder in my right. But the key is to not overdo it. And I'm sure that's it, exactly what my teacher would say. If it hurts, stop. That's definitely the right thing to do. But you have to be able to, you have to know the difference between like acute pain and like that is obviously like doing you an injury, or if you're doing, you know, like if you're working hard on something like muscular pain that is good, you know, because obviously when you exercise and you push yourself, you break muscle fibers, and then when they heal, they come back stronger. So pain has kind of two sides to it, I think, when it comes to drums and also with other instruments. You just have to know your body. It's quite wellnessy, but that's what you have to do. Okay, so we got paradiddles 1, 4, 5. I'm gonna do left hand lead. That means starting with my left hand. Okay, that felt better. Still harder on my right hand, but this is the first time I've done rudiment practice since October. It's not great, but it's just the way it is. Sometimes other things get in the way. And we toured in November, so that was a big focus for me. It was actually getting, not necessarily improving my rudiments, but getting, I would say, what I like to call match fit. You know, like playing songs at the kind of intensity or near the intensity of a show, because you can never replicate that. Well, I certainly can't. Those intensities that you play at a show when you're then performing also as well as trying to play the parts, like I can often overdo it on a show. Like the only times that I'll get like blisters is from when I'm doing a show, because I'm like trying to play with such an intensity that I forget about gripping my stick slightly. Whereas if I'm sat here playing on a practice pad, I can just focus on that entirely. You know, I'm not going to worry about like other people on stage or interacting with the audience, you know, and that is just a huge difference from like being an instrumentalist who works in their bedroom, you know, in their kind of home studio, versus someone who plays live. You have to balance those two things. You know, you've got performance to worry about, and then you've also got like the technical aspect of playing, you know. And that's often why when you see like people playing really, really complicated stuff, like they're not really like performing much, and performing in the way like the way I'm kind of talking about it is making exaggerated movements when they play, you know, like moving around a lot because they're concentrating on playing the really technical things, you know, especially with like, for example, metal drummers who are playing really fast tempos, playing double bass drum pedals like just relentlessly for a song. They have to concentrate on the physical part of that. That's more important than, you know, have I like waved at like my friends in the crowd. No, they're there to do the actual drumming. That's their kind of main focus. So it varies for people. But I think that it is a balance that you have to practice. You have to practice like how much performing you can handle without the technical part falling apart. I've definitely sacrificed like complexity of the parts, because I could play more kind of like drummy complex parts with Fickle Friends and with Isaiah and all of the other artists that I play with, but the performance and the vibe of the show is way more important. Like, absolutely. So I will typically make things easier in terms of the drumming side of things, so I can be more expressive and like enjoy myself more. Because if you're playing simpler stuff, you can actually like not concentrate entirely on them and just enjoy what's happening on stage, which is kind of the point. Well, there was a tangent, actually. That was a tangent. I'm going to go back to my brushes, because I feel like actually I've done 40 minutes of, well, half an hour definitely on the pad over the last kind of 50 minutes or so. So I'm going to go back to the brushes, because give my hands a break. And this is also the thing about practicing, is that having little things that you can jump from one thing to another, you know, whether that's jumping from instrument to instrument, that's, you know, a great thing to do. But then also being able to jump from exercise to exercise. So we were doing like rudiment stuff, working on technique, but then I'm moving on to something that's actually like more musical, something that's applicable to like playing music and like is a real world kind of use. So I'll go back to this comp example and I'll play another, well, I'll go through another 6, I'll go through the 6 lines that are left on this page, and you can just hear the different patterns, I guess. So start off with the basic one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not right. That's right. And the next one. So that last one I did probably 3 different ways, and only one was right. nice when you get an easy one. That's right. And off. That was another 6 lines. Different accent, well, not accent patterns, different musical patterns, changing the rhythm and applying it to that swing pattern. It's good stuff. So I think I'm going to learn a new brush pattern, or at least look at another one that I've explored before. I've got loads of books, loads of drum books, just all over the gaff. Let's have a look at some of these. This is from Brush Artistry by Philly Joe Jones, and I downloaded the PDF and printed it out and made my own book, because they don't sell the book anymore, because it is old school. Oh, this conventional stroke was good. It was hard, that's for sure. So the conventional stroke, this one, you might be able to see it a bit better. There's loads of arrows and dotted lines and numbers and letters to notate where stuff should be played. So got to figure this out. So it's going to go 1, 2, up and down on the right side of the snare drum. So this one starts, so on the beat 2, it starts and it finishes up there on the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Whilst this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the key actually for me is going to be not getting these tangled in each other. This is a 13-inch snare drum, so it's a little bit smaller than what I'd usually play. So I'm just going to pull this brush in a little bit so it maybe stays out the way a little bit more. Now we get more focused tap sound as opposed to, so with the smaller brush, there's just more wires hitting the head, so there's not kind of much focused pressure. So let's see how that sounds. I'll start here. Now, what I'm not really doing so well is finishing that sweep. I'm kind of like wobbling a little bit. Obviously, because it's under tension, you'll hear everything because it's a coated head, but it needs to be as minimal as possible. So it feels like that part finishes nicely together. So we don't want that kind of wobble. Still not quite getting that. I'm going to make this a touch smaller. See if that makes it any better for me. That's not bad. Bit faster. Not quite got the control with this hand. Sounds good on its own, but when I throw this in, maybe if I make it more of a, instead of a press, because then that's making me wobble. If I make it more of a flick away and hold. That was a bit better. Now, that's not an entirely new stroke to me. I have practiced that before because the coordination element of that is pretty tricky. You know, like, I haven't just pulled that out the bag, you know. But there's some other strokes in here which are quite interesting. Let's see if we can find some. This smooth one, again, another one that I've done, definitely have. And this is going from kind of like a a slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then this is just doing small circles. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1. It's got a little gap there. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe this is meant to go back and forwards. It says this is more appropriate for ballads, so slower songs. Two, three, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm practicing my instrument. There may be some of you who have just got me on in the background and are practicing their own instrument, or just going about your day. You know, you might be a freelancer like I am, and you're just kind of getting your day started. You're doing your own practice, but in whatever field that is. But like, is there anything you're practicing? If you are an instrumentalist, like, what are you practicing? Just let me know. Like, pop it in the chat, or comment like underneath this when this inevitably will end up on YouTube, and just like use this as this like video as a time of like, well, if I put this on, I'm committing to doing some practice, and that's why I'm recording it. That's why I'm streaming it on the internet, because it holds me to account. But I like that one. I like that pattern. Actually, in the pictures on this, they've got their brushes quite thin comparatively to where mine have been. So let's try that as well. Three, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Jargon, Autolus. I play the piano but not practicing. Yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough. Sometimes, I mean, we're streaming obviously, so it doesn't necessarily fit in with when you would practice anyway, but just maybe you'll be practicing later. I'm sure you will. I also have tried to learn piano over the last couple of years, and it is by far the hardest instrument, like, in a classical sense. I think it's so difficult, like reading the 2 lines, 2 hands, and then 5 digits on it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, you might think that about drums, I don't know. You think drums requires more practice because of the physical requirements? Yeah, I think it certainly does like that. Like, there's some conditioning, isn't there? Like, because it's not just your hands, it's the feet as well, you know. And actually, with all these jazz patterns that I've been playing, these should be accompanied by a left foot on the hi-hat. Now, when I sort out the full drum stream, then you'll be able to see what they should actually sound like and not just isolated on this drum. But yeah, I think that's a fair point. Like, and especially when you're playing the instrument in front of people, definitely gets the old heart rate up. And I suppose piano is doing that less so. Alright, let's try another one, and then I'll zip back over to my pad just to finish off, I think. Because actually, I need to do the food shop. That's what needs to happen today. Palm up. So this has got the same. It's got the same bit here as the first one in the same place with that left hand. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But then this is palm up. He's playing like a 1, 2. I think he's playing a little tap at the end. He's making a little loop. So what the tiny little picture on there. 1, 2. You're kind of holding the brush like this and then flicking it away. Okay. So 1. Oh, this is going to be hard. 1. Trying to coordinate this little loop with that ending is really tough. 1. Would it be easier if we did a tap? 1. I mean, it does say snap, like a little loop and snap. Flipping difficult, isn't it, Jazz? 1. Now, there is a good YouTube series of a guy doing this, like, and he demonstrates every single one of these, because like this notation is really difficult to read. If someone's not taught it to you, then it's like you're kind of just making it up as you go along, trying to decipher all of the markings on here. I'll revisit that for sure, and try and play a bit better, I guess. Right, okay. Let's loop back around to my practice pad, I think. Get those in there. Yeah, let's just do one more round of those singles, doubles, paradiddles. Finish them off. Finish off with the physical activity. Okay, singles was 160. Let's go back to the soft pad. maybe my hands have gone a bit cold. That's 30 seconds. $45. Bit of a wobble. Oh, not my best work. But considering I've just been playing brushes for a bit, that wasn't too bad. Okay, let's do some doubles. Oh, that sounds horribly fast. Actually, being on stream and doing this is actually really helpful because I can see my left stick comes up considerably higher than my right stick. That's probably something to do with the unevenness. $45 seconds done. Right hand is definitely not used to this. Right forearm's really not good. But the good pain that I talked about. Not acute, bad pain. And that's 1 minute. Back down to 145 for some paradiddles. Start left hand, but it doesn't actually matter because the hands swap every beat anyway. I think with this one thing I do is I make those accents really big, and I don't need to. They can be more relaxed. They can be smaller, because an accent doesn't necessarily have to be really loud. It just needs to be louder than the notes that are around it. Like that's still accented, but that is also accented. Have you ever had a drumming injury? Sarah Jahan 97. Yes. The answer is yes. And I think most people do at some point. Now, I kind of injured myself because I was overdoing it. I was doing too much practice. Too much of a specific type of practice. Like I was definitely just doing the practice pad for too long, not necessarily for too long, but I got out of the realm of that kind of good pain that I could feel that my muscles were working properly, and I just tensed up too much, and I pulled a muscle here, like on the top of my forearm. And I went to physio for it, and like the physio did some acupuncture on it and some massage. Like physio said it was tennis elbow. Can't remember which is which. One like golfer's elbow, one of them is the top, the tendons up here inflaming them, and the other one is underneath. And physio was convinced. They were like, yeah, definitely tennis elbow. Actually, I think I just pulled a muscle because I went too hard, because it didn't come back. It's not like a recurring injury. But yeah, pulled a muscle. What an athlete. You know, I was out, missed half the season. So, yes, long story short, yes, I have had a drumming injury. But nothing else. Been very lucky, I think. I think a lot of people actually, a lot of instrumentalists can struggle with, obviously, RSI. You know, whether that's tendonitis or carpal tunnel, like, but I've been very lucky, and maybe it's because I didn't really practice loads. I don't know, maybe there is a bonus to being slightly lazier than everyone else. You just don't do yourself injuries as much. So I think I'm gonna like end the stream in maybe 10-ish minutes. If anyone's got any other questions, drumming, practice, Fickle Friends, music related, just pop them in the chat, and that would be a nice way to finish this off, really. And I have like really enjoyed this. This has been really cool. Because I'm also like, I'm doing this stream, but passively I'm getting better at the drums, which is great. I'm just having a conversation and thinking maybe a bit more about what I'm doing than I usually would. And you can tell, obviously, the drummers actually can't sit still. I can't like not hit the pad. If I've got a pair of sticks in my hand, I just can't. I can't leave it alone. There's one good pattern which is that thing that I just played, which is a paradiddle diddle, right, left, left, left. You do 2 of those, and then you just do a regular paradiddle, right, right at the end. And then you swap hands. And back. You get that pattern. Now, I've sped it up from what I was doing. But, very familiar, isn't it? I don't know exactly what that rhythm is called or where it comes from. I think it's potentially a Brazilian rhythm. I'm not going to commit to that though, because I know that within Latin music, you know, to give it a really broad term, people get very particular about where the music originates from. But that rhythm, is in like there was a phase where everyone was putting it in songs. Now, Guilty as Charged, Fickle Friends, our song Hard to Be Myself. Boom, ka-boom, 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 ka. It's like a classic reggaeton beat as well. And then another one is the rhythm of like the synth part on Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. Yeah, I've referenced Ed Sheeran on my first live stream. It's happened. So that one, but same as this, but obviously mine's way more slowed down and not swung at all. That swing gives it certainly a lot more groove and feel to it. Well, I think that kind of concludes my practicing, at least for the moment, on the live stream. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are, and I might see you again. This feels like something that I should do kind of weekly, because then I'll actually practice, and then maybe other people can practice as well. So yeah, I guess I'll see you later.